Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about transformations of absolute value functions. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the main ideas in this video are going to be reflections, shifts, and stretches. So we're just going to be using this form to help us out with looking at the equations. So let me turn my brightness up real quick. Okay, there we go. So we're going to start with this form. This is actually the same form that we were using in the previous video to talk about the vertex and things like that. And that actually is directly correlated to the transformations of the absolute value functions. So let's start off with the plus or minus at the very beginning. If you have a plus or minus of any function, if there is a negative at the very beginning, that is going to mean to reflect over the x-axis, okay? And this is going to be true for any function at all. So if there's a negative out in the front, that means that you're going to reflect over the x-axis, okay? And that's if this value is negative. So that's what this is right here. Looking at the a value, if a is greater than 1, it means that there is a vertical stretch. Okay, so this one might be a little bit new, but if a is less than 1, so if it's like 1/2 or 1/3 or 0.5 or anything like that, then this is going to be a vertical shrink. Okay, let's look at our h value, and I always spell weird wrong, and of course I spelled it wrong here. So weird is actually W-E-I-R-D, okay, weird, but h is your weird one because in the form it's x minus h. So that means the minus means whatever you're thinking, it's going to be the opposite of that. So if h is greater than 1, and this is normal, so this is going to be very, very strange. If h is greater than 1, shift right. If h is less than 1, shift left. And you may be thinking, oh, well, that's normal. It's actually not very normal because that means if it says x minus 2, this is actually shift right. Okay, so it's a little bit weird. If you see a negative number on the inside, that means that this value is actually positive. So you're going to be shifting right. So just keep that in mind. And looking at this might be confusing. So we'll look at it in the form. Okay, and then if k is greater than 1, we're going to shift. This is your normal one. So if you have a number on the end, since it says plus k, that means it's just going to be whatever you think. So if k is greater than 1, shift up. If k is less than 1, shift down. Okay, so if it's, sorry, this should actually be if it's greater than 0, not 1. So you might want to change that in your notes. If it's greater than 0, and that's the same thing here as well. If h is greater than 0, you're going to shift right. If h is less than 0, you're going to shift left. So I do apologize about that in the notes. I was getting confused with the vertical stretch and shrink. But if it's greater than 1, shift right. If it's less than 1, shift left. Same thing here. This is up and down. If it's greater than 0, shift up. If it's less than 0, shift down. Okay, so for the vertex, this is something that we had yesterday, and I'm just going to kind of repeat. So the vertex is going to be h, comma, k. All right, and like I said, for the h value, you really want to think opposite. That's the only weird one that you're going to be looking at. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking at these problems. Okay, that's all for this video. So stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be transformations from the equations. Goodbye.